All right, hey, how's it going, guys? So today we're gonna do a book review that I go over with my team. Currently, the book we're reading is "Be Obsessed or Be Average" by Grant Cardone, and this week we did chapter 10. So chapter 10 is about build an obsessed team, and this is something that's really important for us insurance agents. All right, we can't do everything by ourselves, and if you want to build a successful insurance agency, let's face it, we need help. We can't do it all by ourselves. So let's go over some of the highlights of this chapter. The first part of the chapter is titled "Get Beyond the One-Man Show." So this part of the chapter talks about how there's so many small business owners that are really trying to do it by themselves. And as insurance agents, probably are going to be a few agencies that are, one staff, two staff, and there's nothing wrong with that in the beginning. But this author, and I agree, that to build a bigger business, we just have to look for new people constantly. And this is what the chapter really focuses on. So how do we do that? Let's talk about some other things that is discussed on here. Great employees are vital to your survival. So he almost looks at it as not something that's nice to have or something that's good to have. He almost looks at it as a necessity to survive in business, to be able to grow in business. He also talks about how every successful business is operated by more than one person, and that's pretty obvious, but because to do great things, again, you're gonna need more than one person to do it. Stop whining about payroll. All right, this is something that many of you guys may struggle in the beginning, is obviously calculating the cost of having staff. And from personal experience, really, the more my payroll number increased, it really made a big difference in the revenue. So it's a direct correlation. The more you're spending on people, he likes to say people don't cost money, and I believe it's true. The more people you have, really, the more your business is going to grow. So don't be afraid and whine about the payroll. Okay, it's a part of business. I've been doing some paperwork for the government, and one of the questions that I asked just this morning was what my average monthly payroll was for 2019. I did some math, $53,000 a month. All right, so it's an insurance agency. It's many different agency business types out there, but definitely without people, we wouldn't be able to be where we are right now. So hiring and being aggressive with staffing is vital to our agency success. Let's see here. Yes, so it says people don't cost money, not growing your business costs money. So I think that's a great quote. How to find the best. This part of the chapter just talks about recruiting processes. So this is great. Develop a reputation as a place people want to work. Okay, do great things, and those who want to do great things will find you and want to work with you. So I think that's an important point too. Once you're doing really well, it's just going to attract people that want to do well too. So the first part of just committing to building a staff and a great team culture is just making sure you have a winning attitude and you're actually doing well in business yourself. Because let's put ourselves in their shoes. If they are looking for a job, they obviously want to work for a winner. There's someone who's doing great things. So make sure you're putting in the activity level to make sure people are attracted and have interest in joining a winning team, because that's what employees are looking for, to join an organization that's doing well and they can be part of, and something that they can be proud of. So make sure you're putting in the effort to do well at your agency. Always be hiring, not just when a position is open. That's the important one too, because you just never know when you're going to run into a great person, and even when you hire them, you still don't know. But always be hiring. I think that's a great model, because in the 13 years that I've been running my business, there's been some heartbreaks, situations that I thought was going to go well, when certain people quit or certain people didn't work out, or they did some unethical things, hurt your business. There's just been a lot of stories I could share with you guys that could discourage you. But one thing that I've kind of figured out throughout the years is that if you go through 10 bad people to find one winner, that one person that has that passion, that will do anything to help grow your business, comes in early, stays late. If you can find that one person, I say it's worth going through those 10 people that didn't work out, or even 100 people really, because it's that valuable. It's gonna make that big of a difference in your agency to have that one person. Many of you guys can relate and know exactly who I'm talking about at your agency. So finding that one person shouldn't be easy because they're so valuable. So going through all the people is gonna be worth it in my opinion. So always be hiring. Let the world know you're hiring. Social media is a great place to do that. I definitely do that there and have some good results because people could see, your culture. People could see, what your office looks like. People could see you. People could see your potential coworker. So definitely being active on social media and seeing what your agency is all about is a great idea when it comes to recruiting. Do interviews yourself. That's pretty obvious at our level to be you're doing the interview, not delegating that to somebody else. Know what you're looking for. All right. Know what you're looking for. Just for me, I look for just great attitude and great activity. That's kind of what I've been looking for. The author, Grant Cardone, says willingness to do whatever it takes. Compliance with orders, and that's important in the insurance business. Ability to see an order through without drama. Speed of movement, I think that's the important one, just speed, just someone who's always active and just getting things done with urgency. So those are important ones. Look for people who are motivated beyond money. Okay, hire people who want to make money and make a difference, not just people who have bills to pay. So I think that's an important one. I think it's important when people, obviously they need a starting salary and that's important, but I think the ones that really are going to grow with you are the ones that see the opportunity rather than just the starting pay. So if the questions are really focused on, okay, what's my starting pay is going to be, you can kind of tell that person is not looking. The questions they should be asking is more, what is the opportunity, like what can happen and where is the business going? Because let's face it, some people are just looking at short-term benefits. Short-term, hey, what am I going to get paid the first 2 weeks? And other people are willing to look beyond that, 2, 3, 4, 5 years and see where their career could be. And you really want to have those type of people because as an agency owner, that's how we should be, is looking at the opportunity, looking at what the long-term potential is rather than what we're going to get paid right now. I think that's a good one. All right. So yeah, this also talks about role with turnover, okay? And I kind of talked about that too. There's going to be some heartbreaks, people quitting, things like that. But his philosophy is, hey, that's going to come with the territory. We just have to expect it almost. So that's why we always have to recruit, because the way I look at it, it's almost like college basketball. People are going to graduate 4 years down the line, then things aren't going to work out, or they graduate or they move on to the different things. So if you know that's going to come, what's going to be important is you got to always be looking at the incoming freshmen. So you always have a group of people that's going to replace the people that may be out. Now, some people you really do want them to be here with the long term, and you want to really have programs. I think of it as my responsibility to make sure if I have somebody that's really winning, that I give them every single opportunity to advance their career here. So first, now they're doing great with personal lines, then I'm going to train them in commercial. I'll find them ways to now get them licensed in life insurance, and really always working on their income level to be growing every year, because once that gets stagnant, then I feel like, okay, we may have a problem of that person maybe not being as interested in staying here long term. So my responsibility is to always make sure the opportunity is there. Now, what to do with the opportunity is really up to them, or up to us. It may not always happen, but if you have a real hungry person that wants to grow within your organization, make sure that person has every opportunity to keep getting better and have challenges to face. Roll with the turnover, all right? Turnover is going to happen, okay? When it comes to turnover, he talks about it a little bit here, which I believe in too. If you're going to have somebody that's going to quit, it's just going to be better just to let them go before they do. I always thought, well, if they leave or if they quit or if I fire them, it's the same thing. But, when someone's quitting, usually 2 or 3 months prior to that, they're already thinking about leaving in their head anyway. So that's just a time and money wasted that could have gone to somebody new. someone who's hungry, someone wants to prove themselves. So if someone's already checked out, it's actually better to kind of speed up that process by letting them go. Kind of sets the tone too as an organization that, hey, we want serious people here, and having that, it's almost like a race when that happens, is to see if you can fire them before they quit. People have turned it around too, so it's going to be a very difficult, not a simple thing to do, because every situation is very different. But if you kind of feel like someone is not really, may have signs that they are looking elsewhere, then it might be a good to beat them to it before they beat you to it. So I know it's a very difficult and complex situation, but that's kind of my 2 cents on that. Reward performance. This is an important one. I talked about it just right now. When you have a producer that's doing really well, you got to reward that, and I think there's different ways for us to do that as agency owners. I like to do it off premium, not policy count, because policy count is something that, depending on what size business you write, it's hard to, if someone writes a commercial policy or renter's policy, obviously the premium is a big difference. So reward premium, reward hard workers, pay that overtime, and if you have somebody that's really hungry, then really make sure they're fed. So commission plan is definitely the way to go when it comes to our business. So make sure you have every producer. I feel it's a necessity to really reward performance as fast as possible. So it should be monthly. It should be quarterly or yearly. And it shouldn't be a team thing where I know some agencies have it as, if the team does well, then everybody gets the same amount. No, there's going to be some producers that are doing better than others. And some people may think that's not fair, but I think it's the most fair. If someone is producing more than another, that person should be rewarded more. And when it comes to raises, it's really something that is part of someone, how long they're here. But I like to think it's more about what they do. It's not how long they've been here, it's more what they produce. And I think the insurance business is great because their performance can be measured by numbers. It's really easy to keep track of how many payments it took, how many policies they sold, how many hours they worked. So try to keep a track on everything and have a compensation system, even small ones, even for CSRs, non-licensed people, to reward performance, see how many phone calls they made, how many hours they're on the phone, and really have some incentives for those key performance indicators. And then we talk about the book talks about build a culture. So culture, this is the holy grail of business. It's really one of the hardest things, but something that we all strive to do is to build a strong culture. A culture where everybody is positive, encouraging each other, and it's easy to say, but I think one of the things that as an agency owner at this level, what I'm trying to do is just making sure everybody gets along. And you want to have an agency that people want to come to work as much as possible, at least not dread coming to work, because there's a lot of jobs like that. But having a place where they want to work, one of the things that you really have to look out for is if there's any tension developing amongst each other, co-workers. That's just going to happen every once in a while. Like every family, there's just going to be some issues here and there. I think in the past I was a little soft. I didn't like confrontation, so I kind of avoided it. I didn't want to discuss it. But I've had some, experiences where people didn't get along, and that led to, turnover or bad, business results because people just weren't happy at work, and that's not going to lead to good, customer service when you have unhappy CSRs. So now when I see something, I just have to be on it right away. I have to police it, and I just have to talk to them and make sure, hey, what's going on with this person? What's wrong? Well, it was a policy stolen, or maybe it was a misunderstanding, and I always have to smooth these things out, sit them both down. That's part of my job, to make sure everybody's getting along, because everybody's important, and if people aren't getting along, it's just not gonna, it's gonna be very difficult to build a good team culture. So everybody getting along is something that's I'm always keeping an eye on now. And the more I've done that the last several years, it's gotten a lot better. And we're having, people train each other, people motivating each other, people being very positive. And that's something that I'm very proud to share about our agency. So even, with everybody's agencies out there, making sure that you have a group of likable people that are liking each other, I think that's going to get a long ways when it comes to building your team. All right, at the end of the chapter, he ends it with, if you want spectacular people, it starts with you being spectacular. And I think that's a great way to end this book review, because we want to have realistic expectations. As an agency owner, obviously you should be the most spectacular person. You can't expect other people to build a team culture for you, or to hire people for you, or to train other people for you, and to show how to sell policies. I think as the agency owner's number one job is to show them how to be great, take care of yourself, and be disciplined, and show up every day, and lead by example. I think sometimes this business kind of spoils us, and with the residuals, you may not have to work as hard as you did the first several years. But if you want to keep your agency growing, it's us that have to set the example for the employees, because you definitely can't expect, they're on a different compensation plan as us. You really have to lower your expectation of what they're doing and really increase the expectation of what you're doing. And I think the rest of the team will follow. So yeah, I hope this book review helped. We read it as a team every week. This one just happened to be Build an Obsessed Team, which is a very important one. I hope you guys got something out of it. And if you did, or if you have any questions, any feedback, any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments. And until next week, we'll go to chapter 11, Be a Control Freak. Until then, see you guys. Let's get it.